It was the day we were taking engagement photos. My fiancé, Lucas, abandoned me and took off when his first love, Emma, showed up to see him. He even found a photographer on the spot and told him, "You can take pictures with her. We can just Photoshop me in later." He didn't even notice that the stand-in he'd grabbed was my ex-boyfriend, Sage. I stared at my ex-boyfriend, lost in thought. Sage smiled. "Shall we take them then?" We not only took the photos, but we also got legally married. But regretted it. "Who told you to actually marry him?" I sat on the sofa, idly fiddling with my wedding gown skirt. Not far away, my fiancé Lucas was on the phone, his voice gentle. He was comforting his first love, Emma. "Don't cry. You know I can't stand to see your tears. It seems I haven't changed at all after all these years. The moment you cry, I just surrender. Wait for me at home, I'll be there right away." Hearing this, I watched Lucas hang up the phone and walk toward me. He looked anxious and worried. "Olivia, Emma has some things that need my attention. I'm leaving now." I stood up. "What's so urgent? Stage 4 cancer?" Lucas's expression soured slightly. "Don't talk nonsense. She just caught a cold." Around us, the photography studio staff looked over, whispering. I kept my gaze on Lucas. "Oh, so even you know she just caught a cold." Someone chuckled softly. The others who were watching the drama unfold couldn't help but laugh along. Lucas glanced back, then glared at me again, clearly feeling embarrassed. He pursed his lips, then sneered. "It's just engagement photos. Anyone can take them." With that, he turned, walked aside, and casually pulled a tall man in front of me. "You go ahead and take pictures with this photographer. We can just Photoshop me in later anyway." He then rushed off. He really was worried about his first love, so much so that he didn't even notice that the stand-in he'd pulled over was my first love. That face, without warning, entered my GHT, still breathtaking. I swallowed, my throat dry, unable to speak. Sage, however, smiled, his dark, sparkling eyes holding a captivating allure, elegant and refined, yet effortlessly charming. With a slight raise of his brow, Sage asked with a faint smile, "Shall we too take them?" My reaction was a bit slow. Instead of answering, I asked, "You work here?" Sage's expression was enigmatic. A faint smile spread across his lips as he simply uttered 2 words, "Passing by." I was speechless. How could anyone just be passing by a photography studio? Sage asked again, "So, are we taking them?" I took a deep breath. Yes. Lucas went to find his first love, so it's perfectly reasonable for me to take engagement photos with mine. Sage was quite cooperative and went to change. In front of the camera, the photographer said in an awkward and strange tone, "Relax a little, you two. Get a bit closer." I turned my head to look at Sage beside me. A slight curve appeared on his lips, and he extended his arm, pulling me into his embrace. This intimate gesture was second nature to both of us, purely from ingrained habit. "Where's your fiancé?" Sage asked. His large hand was circled around my waist. I gently nudged his hand away a bit, trying not to move my lips, and smiled sweetly. "He went to find his first love." Sage looked at me with deep affection. I thought that in the photos we took, we would definitely look like a loving engaged couple, the kind that would soon be truly married. "Oh, just like us now? Alright, next pose." The photographer gave a light cough. "You two can be a bit more intimate. Groom, be more proactive." I snapped back to reality and saw Sage's intensely handsome face slowly moving closer. He used to do this every time he kissed me, slow and teasing. It always made my heart flutter. My heart raced, and I instinctively closed my eyes. Suddenly, Sage's voice whispered in my ear, "Are you free tonight?" His voice was extremely low and soft, but the end of his words seemed to hook me. After all these years, that smooth operator still knows how to charm. With so many eyes on us, Sage had the nerve to ask me such a question, but I was too embarrassed to answer. My heart, stimulated by both immorality and shame, felt like it might burst from my chest. I slightly turned my head while changing poses and whispered in Sage's ear, "I have a fiancé." Sage's soft chuckle followed, and his large hand circled my waist once more. He had held me there countless times before, with a fierce, domineering strength, just like his personality, each time almost making my mind reel. What on earth was I thinking, right here in broad daylight? Sage's deep, rich voice pulled me back from my memories. "Where is your fiancé now?" I looked up at him abruptly, instantly meeting his deep, luminous eyes. Right, where was my fiancé now? I didn't answer Sage's question. Instead, I answered his previous one. "I'm free tonight." Sage seemed pleased with my answer, a dazzling smile spreading across his lips, as blinding as sunlight. He hadn't changed at all. He didn't have to do anything to attract me. The engagement photos were done. The photographer praised us, beaming with excitement about how great we looked. You two really worked together seamlessly. Every movement and glance was perfectly executed without any guidance from me. Especially the groom, the way he looks at the bride is full of sexual tension, and the bride wasn't overshadowed at all, equally matched. Yes, that's the feeling, so much story, so much. The more the photographer spoke, the more excited he became. Then someone quietly reminded him, "Did you forget they're not actually a couple?" The photographer was stunned. He looked at Sage, then at me, and only after a second did he realize, slapping his forehead. "Look at my memory. You two don't know each other, right?" Sage walked over. "Can I get the digital copies now?" The staff member looked a bit embarrassed. "We haven't had them yet." Sage took out a credit card. "I can pay extra." "All right." The staff member happily took the credit card and led Sage to make the copies. I went to change clothes, then took out my phone and checked it. There were many missed calls and unread WhatsApp messages, but none from Lucas. Good. Very good. I definitely have time tonight. Outside, it was already completely dark. I asked Sage, "Straight to my place?" A faint smile played in Sage's dark eyes, illuminated by the city's neon lights. His handsome face was dangerously captivating. "Let's go to the supermarket first," he said. I paused, my thoughts wandering to scandalous places, then nodded slightly. "Let's go." There was a large supermarket nearby, so we just walked there. This was my first time buying contraceptives with Sage, though he used to buy me feminine hygiene products often. So I didn't hesitate and followed him into the supermarket. Even though I hadn't bought them before, I knew those things were at the checkout counter. As walked further in, I pulled him back, pointing at the small boxes. "They're right here." Sage looked back at me, then at where I was pointing, and his expression paused. My composure shattered. "Don't tell me I misunderstood." Sage smiled silently. "Don't rush, let's get groceries first." Then he took my hand and led me inside. Hearing his words, I walked with a slight limp, startled. Sage pulled me with one hand and pushed the shopping cart with the other, heading to the produce section. "What do you want to eat?" I just wanted to say goodbye to him and not even shake hands. "Whatever." "It's snowing outside, let's have fondue," Sage suggested, letting go of my hand and beginning to place boxes of fresh vegetables into the shopping cart. Next were seafood, thinly sliced beef and lamb, all my favorites. When he was almost done, he asked me, "Is there anything else you need?" I shook my head. Sage paused. "Do you have spare toiletries at your place?" I swallowed. "Yes." "Let's go." Sage took my hand again, just as naturally as he did before we broke up. At the checkout counter, he picked up 2 boxes of contraceptives and placed them with the other items. My cheeks suddenly burned hot. Sage entered my kitchen, unfazed by the brand new kitchen appliances inside. "I don't cook at home, I don't know how." He didn't ask me where anything was, as I probably wouldn't have known anyway. He had already bought all the seasonings, so he took out the ingredients and began to prepare. I, the hostess, simply sat on the sofa, waiting for dinner. Lucas still hadn't contacted me. When came out and saw me staring at my phone, he sneered. "Waiting for your fiancé's call?" "No." I put down my phone and met his gaze. "I'm afraid he will contact me." That was the truth. With things having come to this, the future was clear. I didn't want to get entangled with Lucas. Sage's lips curved into a gentle smile, his voice soft. "Wash up, dinner's ready." The steam from the fondue rose between us. Watching him through the white mist, I felt a strange excitement. "When did you get back?" I asked. Sage placed a hot mushroom into my bowl and said casually, "Been back for a week." "Oh." I picked up a mushroom, and Sage's warning sounded in my ear, "Hot." My gaze fell on the mushroom. "Were you really just passing by that photography studio today?" "Sage, no." My heart raced. This feeling was both strange and familiar. Only when I was with Sage did my heart beat so vibrantly and intensely. "Then, how did you end up going inside?" Sage's tone was still nonchalant. "I saw you go in." The answer was what I expected, yet it made my heart pound even harder. I looked up at him. "Sage, do you still like me?" Sage got up, placed some cooked beef into my bowl, and when he was closest to me, I heard him say, "When did I ever stop liking you?" Sage and I were college classmates. He was already a campus celebrity the moment he arrived, simply because of his stunning face. A sucker for good looks, fell for him at first sight. But he was the one who pursued me first. Like all first loves, it was beautiful and fervent. We loved each other deeply, with such intense passion that even decades later, recalling it would still make my heart warm. But we didn't just love each other, we were also rivals. Scholarships, the position of student body president, competition rankings. He never gave in to me, and I never gave in to him. We competed from our school days right into our professional lives. Perhaps it was because we both had high standards, and our tastes were remarkably similar, that we always ended up setting our sights on the same projects. We kept competing like that until we eventually broke up over it. I was the one who suggested breaking up. During that period, I was under a lot of pressure. My parents both hoped I would achieve something significant and eventually take over the family business. But my cousin Christopher was also exceptionally capable. He was 5 years older than me and had much more experience, so I was naturally at a disadvantage compared to him. And that particular project I had my eye on was snatched away by Sage. The president position at the firm thus fell into Christopher's hands. That was the first time I lost my temper with Sage over a competition. I challenged him, "Are you even my boyfriend anymore?" Sage didn't back down. "Olivia, if I were to give in to you, that would be an insult." I took a deep breath and closed my eyes. "I'm tired, Sage. Let's break up." Sage naturally disagreed. After a few more arguments, I yelled for him to get out. He actually left, going overseas. Now there was no one left to compete with me. It was then that Lucas returned to the country. Lucas and I had known each other since childhood. We were childhood sweethearts, you could say. I knew all about his romantic history with Emma. They started dating in high school, then went overseas together after graduation. In short, AF. For so many years intertwined in a complex relationship of love and hate, Emma broke up with him when Lucas decided to return to the country. Vance and Hayes began a close collaboration, and so Lucas and I agreed to a business alliance through marriage. I don't know why Lucas agreed to marry me. I only knew that I had lost the vice position, so I would aim for the CEO position instead. Marrying would give me more power to compete. A year ago, the Vance and Hayes families announced my engagement to Lucas, and both firms' stock prices soared. Today's engagement photo shoot was also public knowledge. I thought, if I hadn't seen Lucas answer Emma's phone call, we would have gotten legally married tomorrow. But he went to find Emma and still hasn't contacted me. I assume he's still with Emma now. A man and a woman alone together, especially exes, what would happen was self-evident. And what would happen between Sage and me tonight was also self-evident. After dinner, Sage was in the kitchen washing dishes. Thinking I'd restart our year-long broken relationship, I followed him in. "I'll help you." "Sage, no need." I silently stood aside. Sage suddenly called my name. "Olivia." It was the first time he'd called my name since we reunited. My heart skipped a beat, and I quickly responded, "What is it?" Sage seriously washed the dishes, his deep voice firm and clear. "Terminate the engagement with him." The him naturally referred to Lucas. I pouted. "You don't need to tell me that. Lucas and Emma have probably been intimate several times by now. Marrying him after that would be disgusting. Even for a business alliance through marriage, I'd want someone clean." "Oh," Sage said, turning his head to look at me, a hint of teasing in his eyes. "I thought you liked him." His words sounded jealous. I rolled my eyes. "So you knew I was taking engagement photos with him, and that's why you came back?" Sage freely admitted, "That's right. I knew it. This smooth operator. Then you must have seen the news about my business alliance through marriage with Lucas a year ago. Why didn't you come back to stop it?" He put down the bowl in his hand, turned to face me, his gaze serious. "If I had come back then, would you have called off the alliance?" I shook my head. "No. At that time, I was in a fit of anger. I'm stubborn, and I thought, since we'd broken up, that was it for this life. I was absolutely determined when I agreed to the business alliance through marriage with Lucas. If he had come back to stop my business alliance through marriage, with my personality, it would have only made things worse between us." Sage understood me. He continued washing dishes. I walked over. "Then weren't you worried that something might happen between Lucas and me this past year?" Sage's hands paused for a moment, then resumed. "I hadn't thought about that. I thought this smooth operator was quite generous." But then he suddenly put down the bowl and looked at me. "But I'm thinking about it now." He walked up to me. "Did anything happen?" "No," I replied. "Lucas didn't like me. I didn't like Lucas either. What could have happened?" Sage's eyes were as dark as the night sky outside. He extended his arm and pulled me tightly into his embrace. When I opened my eyes the next morning, Sage was lying beside me, staring at his phone screen. Suddenly, I had the feeling of, this is great, it's not a dream. I got up and leaned closer. What are you doing? I saw on Sage's phone screen the engagement photos we'd taken yesterday. During the years our relationship with Sage was most passionate, I had thought about marrying him. At that time, I never imagined that Sage's and my engagement photos would be taken under these circumstances. What's so great about them? I reached out and pressed down on his phone. Sage turned his head to look at me. They're beautiful. What's beautiful about them? I threw back the covers and got out of bed, then turned, looking down at Sage S.I. Ting on the bed. Don't they still need to be photoshopped? Sage gritted his teeth, a faint trace of fierceness emerging between his handsome brows. Didn't get enough of a lesson last night, did we? My cheeks burned hot. I shot him a fierce glare and, holding my lower back, went to the bathroom. From behind me came Sage's laughter, arrogant and smug. He always acted like this when he won against me. Whether in school or in business, Sage and I were always equally matched rivals. But in this particular matter, I was no match for him. Every time, I could only watch him gloat, and it infuriated me. I reached the bathroom door, but couldn't help turning to glare at him and make a threat. Just you wait, someday I'm going to get you back for this. Sage casually threw off the covers, spread his arms, and raised an eyebrow, looking utterly seductive like a fox spirit. Come on then. When I finished getting ready and came out, Sage had already prepared breakfast. 2 bowls of vegetable noodles. I ate my noodles, and Sage told me, don't forget to terminate the engagement with that man. I replied. After breakfast, I went straight to the firm to find my parents. It was my dad's firm, also under Vance. In the CEO's office, after my parents heard about Lucas's actions yesterday, their faces were utterly grim. My mom asked me, what are you going to do? Hearing this, my dad also looked up at me. I didn't hesitate for a second. Terminate the engagement. No, wait. Not terminate the engagement, but we're calling off the engagement. I absolutely wouldn't give Lucas an easy out. Terminate the engagement? After he did such disgusting things, should I still help him maintain appearances? My mom nodded in satisfaction, her eyes full of approval. That's my daughter. Yes, we're calling off the engagement. My dad gave my mom a helpless look, then shook his head, smiling. Our daughter's personality is exactly like yours. Of course. I want to be like my mom and make my own fortune. I don't need any business alliances through marriage. I'd come to a realization, relying on myself was better than relying on anyone else. All right, you two are both prominent families, you don't need me, my dad grumbled, clearly jealous. He could be pacified by my mom. My parents and I finalized our plans to go to the Hayes family tomorrow to call off the engagement, and then I went to work. I didn't get home until after 8 that evening. Stepping out of the elevator, I unexpectedly saw Sage at my door. I hurried over. Why aren't you inside? Sage leaned casually against the wall, arms crossed, his eyes slightly upturned. I don't have the password, and my fingerprint isn't registered. How could I get in? He could be sarcastic sometimes. I took his hand and led him to register his fingerprint on the lock, then told him the password. From now on, you can just go straight in and... Sage suddenly pulled me into his embrace, and as his passionate kiss descended, he pressed me against the door. Did he have to be so impatient? I wrapped my arms around his neck and kissed him back. It was at this moment that I clearly realized how much I had missed Sage during the year we were apart. Perhaps we would still be equally matched rivals in the future, still have our give and takes, but I never wanted to be separated from him again. Olivia. I vaguely heard someone call my name, but my ears were filled with Sage's breathing, so I couldn't hear clearly. I thought it was an illusion. Sage suddenly released my lips, his large hand pressing me firmly into his embrace. I looked up, then followed his gaze. Lucas's angry face caught my eye. He exploded like a bomb, rushing over in large strides. Sage released me and stepped forward to meet him. As swung his fist at him, Sage's large hand firmly clasped Lucas's wrist, while his other hand, with lightning speed, slammed into Lucas's face. The force was so great that Lucas fell directly to the ground. He got up like a madman and lunged at Sage again, cursing, "You damn well touched my woman, I'll kill you." He was immediately kicked back to the ground by Sage. Sage's foot pressed on Lucas's stomach, his low, cold voice carried an undeniable authority. "Olivia isn't yours." Lucas spat out a mouthful of blood, awkwardly wiped his mouth, and glared fiercely at me. "Olivia, you're fucking cheating on me behind my back." Before he could finish, he cried out in pain again, because Sage pressed hard on his stomach with deadly force. "You know perfectly well what you've done." Clean up your language. Sage withdrew his foot, turned, took my hand, used the newly registered fingerprint to unlock the door, led me inside, and closed it. Urgent knocking sounded at the door. I was annoyed and wanted to go out and send him away, but Sage kept my face. Focus. I don't know when the knocking stopped. Truly, after a year apart, Sage's appeal to me was simply overwhelming. It wasn't until dinner that I realized Lucas had left at some point. I didn't want to see him again, but I would have to when we called off the engagement. But my parents told me they could handle it themselves. After the engagement was called off, my mom called to tell me it was done, and we just needed to find a suitable time to announce the news. My mom added, even though I don't think highly of Lucas, we can't completely sever ties with the Hayes family. We still need to maintain appearances. I understood. One shouldn't easily make enemies. Mom, I know. Tell I'm fine, and I'm doing very well right now. My mom chuckled, her voice full of pride. I know you're doing very well. My daughter is solely focused on her career, and I'm very proud. I felt guilty and didn't dare say anything. Actually, it wasn't because I was solely focused on my career that I didn't care about Lucas's messed up things. Of course, I truly didn't care about him, but the most important thing now was that Sage was back with me, and I was quite eager to spoil him a bit more lately. My mom's voice came again, but don't let your mind be completely consumed by work. Eat when you should, play when you should, and date when you should. Life isn't just about work. Don't worry about that. I definitely won't not date, I promised. My mom was silent for a moment. Is something brewing? I gave a light cough. Mom, I need to go now. Goodbye. I quickly hung up the phone. My waist suddenly tightened. I was hugged from behind, the rascal clinging to me, showering my neck with soft kisses. Has the engagement cancellation been sorted out? I was ticklish, so my shoulders twitched, dodging his teasing kisses as I deliberately teased him. No. Sage's lips on my shoulder paused slightly, then bit me unexpectedly. His large hand immediately slipped under my clothes. I held his hand, turned, pulled him to the sofa, and gave him a gentle push. Sage was cooperative, sitting obediently and waiting for me. I loved how cooperative he was. But my phone wasn't cooperative at all. Just as I was about to finish him off, the phone rang. It was Lucas calling. He actually still wanted to see me. Sage's large hands, like iron tongs, clasped my waist. You're not going. I'll go see him one last time. I kept Sage's face, kissed his lips. I still have something to do. Lucas dared to humiliate me like that. If hadn't appeared at the photography studio that day, was he really just going to find anyone to take engagement photos with me? I couldn't stomach that. And I didn't want to. Lucas had asked to meet me at a coffee shop. It wasn't very crowded, and it was quiet, definitely a place to talk things over. He immediately said, "What's with that man? Olivia, we've been together for a year, and I haven't even touched your hand, yet you were practically devouring him. Don't forget, we're engaged." Lucas pursed his lips and nodded to himself. I admit I shouldn't have left you during our engagement photo shoot, and I shouldn't have gone to find Emma. But, you know how deep Emma and my feelings once were. Now that she's come back to me, how could I just ignore her? At this, Lucas sighed. Emma is pregnant. The question marks above my head multiplied when I heard him add, the baby isn't mine. I genuinely asked him, huh? Lucas looked up at me. But don't worry, the position of Mrs. Hayes is yours. No one can replace you. It's just that I can't abandon Emma. She's alone, pregnant, and she only has me now. Lucas paused, his breathing deepened, and he looked at me with a serious expression. As for you and that man, it was just once. I can let it go, but don't let it happen again. He suddenly asked again, that man was the one I randomly pulled to take pictures with you at the photography studio that day, wasn't he? I remember now, you're just getting back at me. I admit I also have issues. I finally couldn't listen anymore and cut him off. Didn't your parents tell you? Sure enough, Lucas was stunned for a moment. Tell me what? I sat up straighter. Since your parents didn't tell you, then I'll be the one to inform you. Lucas, I won't be marrying you. Lucas narrowed his eyes slightly. What do you mean? I smiled. It means that I don't want you, you worthless trash. Lucas shot to his feet. Who are you calling worthless trash? This immediately drew the attention of others. He sat back down, lowering his voice. Olivia, you know perfectly well the nature of our engagement. Don't act childish. Also, I won't marry Emma. I, Lucas, would never marry a divorced woman. As for her and me, yes, I did sleep with her, but didn't you sleep with that photographer too? We're even. I got up, picked up my handbag, and walked over to Lucas. Lucas thought I was about to back down, and slightly lifted his chin. Olivia, do you know why I came to see you? I asked him with a smile. Lucas smiled back. Olivia, we grew up together. You've always been someone who considers the big picture. I know that, and it's what I admire most about you. You're the one meant to be Mrs. Hayes. No, I smiled faintly. I came to see you because I have something to give you. Before could ask what it was, I couldn't wait to slap him across the face. Great, everyone else's attention was on us again. Lucas's face turned red then pale as he stared at me in disbelief. Lucas, I'm letting your humiliation of me at the photography studio slide just this once. If you ever dare to disgust me again, I won't hesitate to disregard our childhood friendship. Lucas, whether stunned by my slap or simply scared, only chased after me and tightly grabbed my wrist after I had already walked out of the coffee shop. Olivia, get out. I shook his hand off and got into the car parked nearby. Sage started the engine. Is everything sorted out? I nodded. Sage took my wrist, his thumb gently stroking my skin. Then can I visit my parents now? He shed his usual nonchalant demeanor, his expression becoming serious and earnest. I've wanted to visit my parents for a long time. I knew what he meant. If I hadn't lost that project to Sage a year ago, thereby losing my position as vice advance, we probably would have met our parents by now. Still, I had some concerns. Do you think we'll still break up impulsively in the future? I won't, Sage replied, his answer clear and firm. He was calling me out. His large hand enveloped mine, squeezing it gently. I know what you're worried about. Sometimes I wonder if I should just give in to you, not compete. I thought about that question every day after we broke up. Olivia, I can give in to you. I'm willing to give in to you for a lifetime. But I'm not the only one in this world. My giving in to you wouldn't help you at all. I nodded. I know. When I broke up with him, I wasn't blaming him for not giving in to me. I was just annoyed that I'd lost to Christopher and took it out on him. I admit that was my fault. Sage, I'll never easily say let's break up to you again. Oh, it's not easy to hear you say that, Sage teased. My parents hadn't known I was in a relationship before, much less about Sage's existence. At the time, my feelings were complicated. I always thought I'd wait until I had completely beaten Sage before bringing him home. Only a year had passed, and looking back at my competitive nature, it seemed ridiculous. My parents were naturally very pleased with Sage. They also scheduled a dinner with Sage's parents to finalize our marriage. When it was just Sage and me, I couldn't help but sigh. If only we'd known earlier, we could have just had a business alliance through marriage. If William had been happy, he might have given me the vice position. I got a little excited thinking about it. Do you think Grandpa would just make me CEO? Sage gave me a chiding look. What nonsense are you talking about? Are you marrying me or forming a business alliance through marriage with me? I pouted. My mistake. We're not forming a business alliance through marriage. This is a powerhouse alliance. Sage ruffled my hair. I'll draw a bath. Want to take one together? I shot to my feet. No. I still have things to do. Can I borrow your laptop? I slipped into his home office. No way was I taking a bath with him. I knew Sage's laptop password. It was still my name combined with his birth date. I had set my sights on a project a few months ago. I had initially planned to do it with Lucas, but now I wanted to snatch it for myself. I certainly wasn't deliberately snooping on Sage's laptop, but when I saw a folder named with my name and a date, I instinctively clicked on it. Inside the folder were some photos of me from the past year, and Lucas's information? He even had records of when Lucas and Emma first got in touch, and how many times they contacted each other throughout the year. He also knew when Emma returned. I remembered Sage telling me that the time he came back coincided with Emma's return. I thought Sage was very composed, but it turned out he had been crystal clear about my situation all along. It was just that at that time, Lucas and I had only announced our business alliance through marriage, so there were no major moves, which is why he hadn't appeared. Sage walked in and saw me looking at the information and photos, showing no embarrassment at all about being caught. I glanced at him sideways. If and I had married, would you have come back to crash the wedding? Sage gave a light cough, then became stern. That was no good. What's wrong with me crashing the wedding? I waved him off. You go. I need to get to work. This project I was determined to win. I originally thought Lucas would continue to stick together with Emma for a while, but I didn't expect him to also be keeping an eye on this project. I had underestimated his ambition. The next time we met was at a business reception. Lucas walked over, bringing Emma with him. These two had no depth. Their thoughts were written all over their faces. Lucas wore an expression that screamed, "You didn't appreciate me, and now that I've moved on with other women, it's too late for regrets." Emma, in turn, looked at me with eyes that said, "I gave you a year, but you couldn't seal the deal. Lucas is still mine." Why was fate doing this to me, throwing two idiots my way at once? In this setting, bursting out laughing would only make me seem shallow. I pressed my lips together, suppressing a laugh, and watched the two of them walk towards me. Lucas glanced to either side of me and scoffed, "Just you? Where's your little boyfriend?" Before I could respond, he answered his own question, "Oh, I forgot he's just a photographer. How could someone like him get into an event like this?" Lucas let go of Emma's hand, walked over to me, and whispered in my ear, "Do you regret terminating the engagement with me for a photographer now? Olivia, I can give you another chance. Just give in to me now, and the posy tie of Mrs. Hayes will still be yours." I turned and immediately told Emma, "He said if I just give in to him, the position of Mrs. Hayes would still be mine." Lucas's face turned beet red. Emma's expression was equally priceless. "What are you talking about?" Lucas snapped, returning to Emma's side. "Don't listen to her nonsense." Emma clearly felt embarrassed, but she stubbornly clung on, affectionately linking her arm with Lucas's. But when I went to the restroom, she came running over to warn me to stay away from Lucas. I smiled. "What standing do you have to warn me? Are you the other woman?" When she and Lucas rekindled their romance, Lucas and I were still engaged. Emma lifted her chin slightly. "Lucas has always loved only me. The one who isn't loved is the other woman." I had nothing to say. Her values were so twisted, she'd practically bid farewell to normal humanity. She and Lucas truly were a perfect match. "Emma, if Lucas truly loved you, why did he leave you alone and return home then?" Emma clenched her teeth, glaring at me defiantly. "If you want to continue with your self-deception." I shrugged. "It has nothing to do with me anyway. I'd actually enjoy watching you and Lucas get entangled and end up with nothing, since I absolutely love to watch the drama unfold. Just a friendly reminder, though, that man who claims he's always only loved you, he personally told me he would never marry a divorced woman. You should probably think carefully about what you're going to do next." I reapplied my lipstick and left. Sage usually didn't attend events like this. Everyone said Miller heir apparent was low-key and mysterious, and especially during Sage's year overseas, the legends about him in social circles became even more legendary. They said he'd stepped down from his position as heir to Miller to personally expand the overseas market. His vision and capabilities were unmatched among his peers, and the Miller family clearly had a worthy successor. But there were other rumors, claiming Sage had gone overseas to heal from a broken heart after being deeply hurt by his first love. In short, even though Sage wasn't making appearances in social circles, his legend was everywhere. At tonight's reception, Sage was mentioned again, with everyone eager to connect with this new generation standout and hoping to reach a partnership agreement. Just who is this Mr. Miller's first love, anyway? When I returned to the ballroom, I heard Lucas discussing Sage and his first love with someone. The other person chuckled. "So, Mr. Hayes also wants to reach a partnership agreement with Mr. Miller?" Lucas simply smiled without answering. The other person nodded understandingly. I seemed to have overheard something significant. Lucas wanted to reach a partnership agreement with Sage? He had just gotten into a fight with him. Mr. Miller must be sick of him. After the reception, I bid farewell to several other prominent figures and was about to get in my car when Lucas followed me. Emma wasn't with him. "Olivia," Lucas said, approaching me. "I know you've been eyeing the Orion lately, and as you know, I'm quite interested in it too." I thought he was going to brazenly suggest we collaborate again, but instead, he said, "I can let you have this project, and we can continue our engagement. What do you say?" I looked at Emma, who had emerged from behind him. She saw Lucas and me too, but she didn't come closer, standing by the hotel entrance, watching us thoughtfully. I averted my gaze, and before I could answer, Sage's voice called out, "Darling, are you ready?" Lucas saw Sage and looked slightly annoyed, but then he scoffed when he saw Sage's car. "Olivia, a man who even needs you to buy him a car, I really don't know what you see in him. Think carefully about what I just said." He took a slight step forward. "Oh, by the way, I have something else to tell you. Sage from the Miller family is back. You didn't know that, did you?" I glanced back at Sage. Not only did I know, but I'd also already been intimate with him. Lucas had a triumphant look on his face. "I'm about to reach a partnership agreement with Sage. With Holdings endorsing me, Olivia, you should know who can bring you greater benefits, me or this photographer." He chuckled again. "Of course, I'm not as good at photography as he is." I'll give you 1 more week to think it over. Lucas gave me a cryptic look and left. I turned around, and Sage and I just stared at each other in silence. Once we were in the car, Sage asked me, "Where did your parents find such an idiot to arrange a business alliance through marriage with you?" I felt insulted. A week later, Lucas asked to meet me again. I knew perfectly well that I shouldn't meet him again, it was a waste of time. Yet I couldn't resist meeting him. In my busy life, it was rare to have an idiot show up and provide a distraction once in a while. This time, Lucas arranged to meet me at a winery. As soon as I sat down, he poured me a glass of red wine. "Try it," he said, "I made it myself." I smiled at him. "Wow, you're so impressive." Lucas's face flushed. After a second of feigned innocence, he became utterly pleased with himself. "Olivia, have you come to your senses?" I gently traced the rim of the glass. "You didn't do anything this past week, just waiting for word from me?" Lucas gazed at me intently. "Of course." "No wonder," I nodded. Lucas paused. "No wonder what?" "I secured the Orion," I said gratefully. "If it weren't for you doing nothing this past week and reducing my competition, I probably wouldn't have landed it so quickly." Lucas opened his mouth to speak, but I didn't give him the chance. "Thanks to your inaction, you saved me a few minutes of time, and for that, I still have to thank you." Lucas wasn't stupid, he understood perfectly that I had defeated him in mere minutes. He frowned deeply. "What do you mean?" I tilted my head and smiled at him. "It means, you're not Eve. And fit to be my rival, are you?" Lucas stood up. "I'm asking you, you're not planning to continue our business alliance through marriage, are you?" I put on that worshipful expression again. "Wow, you're so brilliant. Olivia, you played me." Lucas was furious. But he quickly reverted to his usual arrogance. "It's just the Orion. Do you really think I care about that?" "Olivia, I was originally going to let it go out of consideration for our childhood friendship, but you brought this upon yourself." He issued a harsh warning and strode away. That idiot's distraction completely dispelled the fatigue I'd been feeling lately. I had been eyeing the Orion for a long time, had developed several versions of the proposal, and finally beat out several competing firms before signing the contract the day before yesterday. Landing a major project and having drama to watch, life truly was wonderful. I went to find Sage, planning to celebrate with him. Sage's parents were there too, which I hadn't expected. It turned out they were there to officially endorse Sage's succession as CEO of Miller. Mrs. Eleanor took my hand. "It's good that this boy is taking over as CEO before marrying you. He'll finally be worthy of you." The internal struggles of the Miller family were just like any other prominent family. I just hadn't expected Sage to go overseas for a year and return to claim the CEO position at Miller. His trip overseas definitely wasn't as simple as grieving our breakup. Sure enough, after Sage's parents left, he admitted it to me. The main reason I went overseas was indeed for the firm's development. It just happened to coincide with you wanting to break up at the time, and I really couldn't be in two places at once, so I had to go overseas first. He cleared his throat, lowered his head, and looked at me with pleading, pathetic eyes. "But I didn't want to break up with you, so I had no choice but to secretly investigate your fiancé." I rolled my eyes. "So, that whole story about you going overseas because you were deeply hurt by your first love, you spread that too?" Sage nodded cautiously. "Yes, it was for your benefit." He even tried to justify it. "Well, you blocked me, so I couldn't just have no contact for a whole year, could I? What if you forgot about me?" I couldn't let it slide. I had to give him a hard time, otherwise, I wouldn't feel right. "I see. To you, the CEO position is more important than I am." Sage looked at me with a perceptive gaze. "If I couldn't even secure the CEO position, would you still marry me? Don't I know you? Your standards for a partner are high, handsome, good physique, low-key and mysterious, a good cook, and capable. If I'd lost to my brothers, you definitely wouldn't have been interested." As he spoke, he started to sound aggrieved again. But why did I feel like he was boasting? I remembered when Sage and I first started dating. I'd said my ideal type was an alpha CEO from a novel, perfect in every way. My future husband had to be just like that to be worthy of me. He actually did hold himself to that standard. Now it was my turn to feel awkward. I was just saying that casually. I was young and dreamy back then. Sage straightened his tall frame. "Oh, so does that mean I don't have to be aloof anymore?" "Of course not, you're not a god." Sage suddenly leaned into my ear. "So, can I use the restroom in front of you now?" "Get out." Sage took me to celebrate my success with the Orion. Unexpectedly, we ran into Lucas at the firm's entrance. He sincerely told the front desk staff, if Miller could just spare 10 minutes for me, I'd be very grateful if you'd let me in to see him. I pulled Sage over. Lucas? Lucas was surprised to see Sage and me. Olivia? You're here to see Mr. Miller too? Are you deliberately going against me? He then looked Sage up and down. You're a grown man. Are you proud of yourself for becoming a woman's accessory? I advise you to get out quickly. This isn't a place for someone like you. No sooner had he finished speaking than someone approached and bowed deeply to Sage. CEO, I'll escort him out now. Lucas's scornful expression froze. He stood there dumbfounded, staring blankly at Sage. It took him a long moment to speak. CEO? You're. The person next to him spoke. This is Mr. Sage, our newly appointed CEO of Miller. Lucas's eyes widened. You're Sage? His face immediately went pale, and he swallowed hard several times. You. How can you be Sage? And you too. He looked at me in disbelief. Didn't he get dumped by his first love? Olivia, when did you two get together? Sage pulled me into his arms. Allow me to introduce you. This is my first love, Olivia. And I'm Olivia's first love too, he added with pride. Before could react, he was dragged out. Mr. Miller, let me explain. Olivia, please say something for me. We're childhood sweethearts who grew up together. Sage cursed. If he hadn't brought that up, I wouldn't have been so annoyed. So what if you're childhood sweethearts? Seeing me still watching Lucas being dragged away, he nudged me with his shoulder. Still looking? Is he that handsome? I nodded. Yes, it is. Having a simpleton become part of our little game is quite amusing. Sage scoffed. Amusing, my ass. He wasn't acting like an alpha CEO from a novel anymore, he was letting loose. Once in the car, Sage suddenly leaned closer, looking at me seriously. Olivia, I want to tell you something. I nodded. Go ahead. I'm actually not an alpha CEO at all, and not cool either. Will you still like me? His eyes were full of anticipation. I pressed my lips together, suppressing a laugh. Yes, I will. Then. He cleared his throat and asked hesitantly, if I'm a bit lovesick, will you still like me? I was about to burst out laughing, biting my lower lip as I nodded. Yes. Sage sighed in relief and hugged me tightly. You're the best. Suddenly, I felt like I barely knew him. But this was even better, or exciting, wasn't it? The next time Lucas found me, he was much more dispirited, completely devoid of his usual arrogance and haughtiness. Olivia, please put in a good word for me with Mr. Miller. Everyone in social circles now knows I've offended him, no one is willing to reach a partnership agreement with me anymore, and even my family is ready to abandon me. I'm truly at my wit's end. He continued to play the sympathy card. After all, we grew up together. Please help me, okay? Consider it a plea. I shook my head. No. He had humiliated me so badly in the photography studio back then, and he still expected me to speak up for him? Did he think I was some kind of doormat? Don't contact me again. I don't want to see you. I stood up and left. Lucas indeed didn't come looking for me again. But one day, I saw him anyway. He was arguing with Emma on the street. I gave you so much money, even bought you a house, and now you won't even sell the house to help me? Emma put her hands protectively over her stomach. Those things were gifts from you. And didn't you go around telling everyone you'd never take someone's cast off? How are you begging me, someone's cast off, now? Lucas, I won't help you. I have no feelings for you now, and I deeply regret ever liking you. Just seeing you makes me sick. Get out. Emma pushed Lucas away and quickly left. She looked up and saw me. She walked up to me, chin raised. Miss, thank you for your reminder earlier. I have money now, a baby on the way, and I'm living quite freely. As for Lucas, you can have him back if you want, I certainly don't. I pouted, if you don't want him, then neither do I. Emma didn't say anything more. Later, Emma went overseas again. She sold the house, and the money Lucas had given her was enough for her to live well with her child overseas for the rest of her life. I had no comment on her actions, it wasn't my business anyway. Because had been pestering me earlier, Sage directly released evidence that Lucas was still engaged to me while being involved with his ex. Hayes stock prices plummeted, and they immediately announced that Lucas was no longer affiliated with the firm. Lucas was now a terrible person whom everyone avoided. What happened to him after that was his own concern. Sage began planning our wedding. A week before we got legally married, he gave me an agreement and transferred all his assets to my name. While I wasn't entirely surprised, I couldn't help but ask him, why did you give all of it to me? Sage's handsome face was full of straightforwardness. I just gave it all to you. Don't you like it? Anything you want in the future, I'll give it to you. Didn't I tell you? I'm a bit lovesick. The corner of my eye twitched, and I let out a dry chuckle. This was more than a bit. What are you doing? Sage suddenly became defensive. You said you'd still like me even if I'm lovesick. You have to keep your word. If you really love to compete, then we'll go back to how we were before. I won't go easy on you, you can count on that. But there's just one thing, whatever I win will ultimately be yours anyway. Doesn't that make it less fun, less exciting? Olivia, will you think I'm boring? I shook my head, no. I couldn't help but hug him and pat his head. This kid was playing the victim so intensely, I almost felt sorry for him. Darling, let's be more confident, okay? I'll like you no matter what. Sage immediately straightened up. He was back to his confident self. On the day Sage and I got married, Grandpa gave me the CEO position at Vance, because I had handled the Orion so brilliantly. Okay, I also knew it had a little something to do with Sage and me getting married. I wanted to rely on myself, but my husband was just too capable. That's something I couldn't control. My capable husband suddenly whispered in my ear, I feel like crying. What should I do? I turned my head, helpless yet wanting to laugh. Then cry. Sage's eyes instantly lit up, and he pulled me into a tight embrace. Wifey, my dream came true. I laughed in his arms. What was your dream? Sage gently kissed the top of my head. My dream was to be Olivia's devoted partner. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.